What's going on, guys? Your boy Man Jones here from the Big Fan, back here with another video. And this time we'll be doing our week 14 prediction for the season. It's already week 14 and getting close to the end of the season. So yeah. And last week I went 10-6, which I did pretty good, and then overall record is 123-79, which is pretty good. And also we got 4 teams on bye week, which is the Giants, Niners, Panthers, and Patrons, which that's pretty good for them and all that. So this is like gonna be the last bye week that teams have. So yeah, so before I get started with my week 14 predictions for this week, don't forget to put thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel more often, and comment down your opinion below to see who you to see if what you guys who you got winning this week. So overall, I chose the Lions to win 34-31, and they won 44-30. So yeah, which I was right on that. So we're gonna start with the rest of the games. So we got the Seattle Seahawks playing against the Atlanta Falcons. So the Seahawks is 6.5-point favorites against the Falcons. The Falcons are totally coming off of a disappointing loss against the Jets, while Seattle is coming off a blowout win against the Vikings, who left the Vikings blank for the whole game. Now, as you all know it though, the game can totally go either way, but at the same time, I'm going with the Seahawks to win this game because they're the much more better team, better coaching staff, better quarterback. Like, the Falcons are just disaster. I mean, trust me, they are. I mean, they're not. I feel like their offense is totally taking a step back, and all of a sudden, their offense right now, they're struggling right now, and especially on defense, they've been struggling lately. And I feel like without Drake London, I don't really think the Falcons are going to be able to move the ball successfully. And Seattle has one of the best run defenses in football and the best pass defense in football. I think they can take advantage of a Falcons offense that don't have Drake London, so they have to rely on Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson to run the football, which I don't really think they're going to be able to do it much in that game. And Kirk, he's been having his moments, but he's been a little inconsistent lately, and he's playing against a Seahawks defense that is elite. And we also seen last year that Seattle went to Atlanta and blew them out by double digits and winning at least by 20 points because Kirk was washed in that game and he did not look great. But now I think the Seahawks defense knows the formula, and I feel like they know how to play this. I think they know how to defend Atlanta, and especially Atlanta's coach is on the hot seat right now, and their coaching staff is is on the hot seat as well. So I definitely take the team with the better coaching staff, and I take the team that's the more complete team and having a chance to make the playoffs. Because Atlanta, they're not going to go nowhere, but they're probably going to play for next year because their season's halfway over. So yeah, I think it could be a lower scoring game if Atlanta's defense plays better, but Seattle might score 30 in this game. I think it's going to be like a 30-17, something like that. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks to win, and I'll take the Seahawks to cover. Next game, we have the Tennessee Titans against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 4.5-point favorites against, I think the line changed. I don't know why. So the Browns are 3.5-point favorites against the Titans. Obviously, the game's in Cleveland, and we know both quarterbacks are absolute. They're not good. I mean, they're playing against the quarterbacks who are not good. I mean, as you look at this, the game's in Cleveland, and it's going to be Shedeur versus Cam Ward. Obviously, the Browns, do have a really good. Now, both offenses are not good, but their defenses, Cleveland does have a better defense. We know they're good against the run. They're good against the pass. And, they're playing against the Titans offense that can't run or throw the ball and don't have a good offensive line. And, and I feel like the Browns pass rush will dominate that. And I feel like Garrett is probably going to have like 7 sacks in this game because he's Defensive Player of the Year candidate, though. I think the Browns defense is going to find a way to control the line of scrimmage. But yeah, they may not do much on offense. But I think the Titans defense can keep them in this game, though. But I just don't really think the Titans are going to be able to do much offensively to move the football, especially against a Browns defense that's really good against the run and pass. And Ward against Calvin really is a good matchup because, the Browns like to play a lot of man coverage. And, so far the Titans do as well. I think Judy could have a big game. I think David Njoku can. And Quinshon Judkins, he's a really good serviceable running back. We'll see what he can do. So I'm going to take the Browns. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a little bit of a low-scoring game. But I'm going to take the Browns to win because the Browns are the more complete team. And they're just more talented. They have better coaching. They're at home in this game where their defense is good at home. And the Titans so far are like one of the worst teams in football. And they can't cover anything. So I'm going to take the Browns both ways. I'm going to take the Browns to win and cover. And I think their defense comes through and win them this game. Maybe like 16-6, 9-6, maybe 12-9, something like that. Something like a lower scoring game. So I'm going to take the Browns to win and the Browns to cover. Next game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 5.5-point favorites. Actually, the line moved to like 6, actually. So they're 6-point favorites against the Bengals. Obviously, the Bengals are coming off a big win against the Ravens. And the Bills are coming off a big win against the Steelers. So obviously, I know most people could be picking the Bengals to win because we already know that the Bengals always play the Bills really well because we've seen that happen in the regular season and we've seen that happen in the postseason. But at the same time, both teams are dealing with injuries, especially on the defensive side. As I look, as I'm looking at the Bengals, Trey Henderson is ruled out. Cam Taylor-Britt's on IR. Shamar Stewart's on IR. So, yeah, they have lots of injuries on defense. The Bills just claimed Darius Slay, so he's away from the team due to a personal matter. Now they just ruled out Joey Bosa and Terrell Bernard. So yeah, and we already know that Ed Oliver, he has biceps, so he has a chance to come back during the playoffs. As I heard the news saying that he could return for the playoffs because he's been out since week 8. So yeah, he hasn't played since week 8. So yeah, and so a lot of injuries for the Bills on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah. Yeah, so the Bills got a lot of injuries on defense so far. The Bengals so far have injuries on defense too. I kind of feel it's going to be a higher scoring game, but I would consider taking the points with Cincinnati because Cincinnati did cover the game against the Ravens and somehow they end up winning. Now, I like how the way their offense is playing. They're playing with a lot of momentum, and Joe Burrow looked really good in that game. And that defense so far against the Ravens was really good in that game, allowing 14 points. Like they were forcing turnovers and all that. Now the same thing could happen to the Bills because we've seen the Bengals defense confuse Josh Allen before, and I feel like there's a chance they could do it again because I really didn't think the Bengals defense because I didn't really think the Bengals were going to be able to do much. I didn't really expect the Bengals to at least allow 14 points to the Ravens without Trey Hendrickson, and all of a sudden their defense did find a way to make some stops when they need to. But at the same time, when I look at the offensive side, when I look at the defensive side of the ball for Buffalo, yeah, they do have a lot of injuries, and they do have a pathetic run defense. And I think the Bengals can run the ball on them as well. That could allow Chase Brown to at least get a lot of carries in that game. But yeah, the Bills' run defense did look pretty good against the Steelers because Steelers only allowed 50 rushing. The Bills only allowed 50 rushing yards to the Steelers, and we know Steelers because that's a bad Steelers offense. But at the same time, I just feel like the Bills. They don't play a lot of man coverage like the way the Lions do, but they like to play a lot of zone. And I feel like Joe Burrow, he's going to dissect those zones, which he can though, because we know the Bills can't cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and that's a terrible matchup, and they can be a problem from any defense. And I think Burrow could throw at them. And at least beat those zone coverages because he's smart enough, to see which guy's open, to see which guy's not, especially on a big throw, on a screen pass, or a forward pass, something like that. So, yeah, and the Bills' defense do struggle at these moments. But at the same time, I hope the Bills get their tackles back. I mean, Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown is questionable to play. Deion Dawkins is off concussion protocol, so he's expected to play. So the Bills' O-line, without Trey Hendrickson, could totally help, pass block and open some holes, which that could allow the Bills to run the ball in this game. Because we know the Bills ran the ball really well against the Steelers last week, and they did run those same plays. And I think they will do it like they did against the Steelers. James Cook's probably going to have a good game. And we know the Bengals, their pass defense is not great, but DJ Turner is probably their only best player. But who does he cover? Kincaid, hope they get him back because I don't know if he's playing. Is he done playing? I don't know if he's going to play. He could be a problem for the Bengals secondary because the Bengals, they struggle against tight ends, and the Bills could use their two tight end formations. And they struggle against wide receiver as well. So Shakir, Palmer, Coleman can be a problem. So yeah, but I think this game will be fun to watch. The game will be close. The Bengals could totally pull off an upset. But at the same time, I think it will be a high-scoring game. But I'm going to go with the Bills to win this game. I'm going with the Bills to win this game is because I just think the Bills, they're just the more complete team. And, they have more to play for. So, yeah. But if the Bengals had a better record, if they had a good record, I would lean Cincinnati. But given the fact that their record is pretty bad I know they want to make the playoffs this year and they might need it more. But I just don't really think that the Bengals on defense is going to be able to get enough stops against this Bills rushing attack, especially the Bills offensively are ranked first because as I look at the stats, the Bills offensively are ranked second and they're ranked first in rushing yards, and they got the 10th best passing offense in football. And the Bills defense is better than the Bengals because we know the Bengals defense is one of the worst in football. So, and the Bills got one of the best pass defenses in football. So, maybe they do play better against the pass because they did do better against the pass against the Steelers. So yeah. So I'm gonna take the Bills to win on a high scoring game on the last drive of the game to win, but I'm gonna go with the points with the Bengals to cover because I think the Bengals offensively can do enough to score. Because I think Cincinnati will score in the 30s, maybe in the 40s, which I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. So yeah, so I'm gonna take the Bills to win, and I'm gonna take the Bengals to cover. All right, next game we have the Washington Commanders versus the Minnesota Vikings. Now the line did change a little bit. It did change a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, it did. It was at the Vikings were favorite until I saw the injury report that Jaden Daniels is back. So yeah, so basically Jaden Daniels is back, which has good news. Now, Washington, now it does favor Washington. Now, this game right here can go either way, but at the same time, we totally seen the Vikings offense looked pathetic last week with no points. Like, even if you start back J.J. McCarthy, I don't think it matters though, because the Vikings, without J.J. McCarthy, with J.J. McCarthy, with the Vikings, their offense right now, like their defense, okay, is playing better, but their offense right now just can't produce. Justin Jefferson may not want to play. Their O-line's beat up, and JJ McCarthy, like he's very inconsistent lately, and he's been very inconsistent since Jamarcus Russell. And then they had a quarterback last week who is a CFL quarterback who had thrown 4 picks, and one was a pick 6 as well. Like, the Vikings just got no dimension to their offense. It doesn't matter if Justin Jefferson's on the team or not. Like, hey, I don't care. Like, they just got no dimension to their offense. Like their offense is not a lot of speed. Like they're like the worst offense in football. And yeah, their defense is good, but they're not good. They haven't been good against the run, but they're only good in pass defense. So yeah. But the Vikings sometimes like to play a lot of man and sometimes zone. And I think Jaden Daniels is smart enough to at least like dissect those zones and man. And Terry McLaurin, him being healthy, is probably helping their offense. We totally see the Commanders' offense found a way to move the ball against the Broncos' defense is one of the best in football, which they almost won that game though, which they should have though. And Mariota was very consistent. But at the same time, I just don't really think that the Vikings. I feel like the Commanders, yeah, their defense is really better. We know they're terrible against the run. They're terrible against the pass. But I think they do play a lot better here because they're playing against a Vikings offense that's very pathetic. So yeah, and I think the game will be a lot closer. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because I think the Vikings defense can hang in this game. But I'm going to take the team with the better offense and the better quarterback, which is the Washington Commanders. And I'm taking the Commanders to win this game. It's because the Commanders got the better offense. They got the better quarterback. And I just really think they'll find more ways to move the ball and score points. Because if the Vikings, like I said, because if their offense, if they can't sustain drives and can't score points, because if their offense just can't, because the Vikings offense, like, if they can't sustain drives and get in the rhythm, they're not going to score points. Because we know they couldn't score points last week against the Seahawks, which the Seahawks let them blink last week because the Vikings offense couldn't sustain a lot of drives due to turnovers, mistakes, and sloppy plays, going 3-and-out multiple times. So I'm going to take Washington to win, and I'm going to take the Washington to cover as well. But yeah, the game's in Minnesota, but at the same time, what I'm seeing, the Vikings are not a good team, and they're not going to go anywhere, and they don't have good of an offense, and their offense is not as good as last year. And that's why I'm taking the Washington Commanders to win this game and cover. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins against the New York Jets. The Dolphins are 3-point favorites against the Jets. This game right here could go either way. Now, I know a lot of people could be on the Jets to win because we know the Dolphins suck in cold weather and all that, and we know it's going to be cold there in New Jersey as I look at the weather. So let's look. Oh, yeah, it's like 40 degrees in New Jersey. So we all know it's going to be cold there. And we know Tua's like winless in cold weather. Like, he has a bad record in cold weather. And I just really think that, on the other side, I like how the way the Dolphins are playing right now. I mean, their defense is playing really good. Their offense producing really well. But at the same time, somehow the Dolphins allowed the Saints to hang around this game, and Tyler Shough made some good throws, And the Saints were able to hang around again because their defense nearly kept them in the game. Their offense so far was playing a little better in the second half as well. But at the same time, they're playing against a Jets team with no quarterback, and Justin Fields is benched once again. They're playing with Tyrod Taylor. But, he did lead the Jets to a win last week, which that's great. But at the same time, they do have weapons on the offensive side of the ball, like Mitchell, like John Mechie's playing well. Like, they're playing good. They're playing a really good job with yards after the catch and taking the top off the defense. And, the defense has been playing a lot better a little bit, but I don't think it's good. But I just don't really know if I have faith in the Dolphins' offense to score that many points in cold weather. I mean, if they can get something going offensively and not just be sloppy, I think they'll find a way to at least lose this game because I feel like the Dolphins defense can keep them in this game, and I think their offense could produce. And without Sauce Gardner, I feel like Waddle will be a problem. Darren Waller will be a problem as well. So yeah, and the Dolphins can run the ball a little bit, and the Jets have been they've been terrible against the run lately. So I think the Dolphins can run the ball on them and control time possession and all that. And the Jets so far, I don't like their season's pretty much done. They may not have much to play for because they're probably not gonna make the playoffs this year. And Miami is looking to at least win out a bit. They're looking to win out a bit if they really want to make the playoffs because right now they have a chance to. So yeah, so basically I'm going to take the Dolphins to win. I guess I'll take them to win, and I'll take the Jets with the points. I guess because the weather's going to be cold there in New York. So yeah. And I just really think that the Jets offense I feel like the Jets will stay in this game, and Tyrod Taylor has been a really good backup lately. But yeah, I know they don't have Garrett Wilson playing, but I think they'll do enough to hang around this game. And they especially won 2 games without Garrett Wilson, where their offense was able to produce. So yeah, I'll take Dolphins to win because they're the more complete team and have the better coaching staff and better quarterback play as well. So I'll take the Dolphins to win. I'll take the Jets to cover. But I don't really love it, though, for the most part. All right, next game. We have the New Orleans Saints against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are 8.5-point favorites against the Saints. I know the spread is a lot big, and I know it's 8.5. But now I just moved to 8. Um, I'm gonna take the Bucks to win the game. I'm not sure about the Saints covering though, but the Saints did find a way to cover that game against the Dolphins, and they almost won. But their defense has been playing really good for the most part, just that their offense can't produce. And the Bucks, and they're playing against a Bucks defense with Todd Bowles that's really good at blitzing. Now the offense so far has not been looking good recently, but their defense did kept them in the game last week against the Cardinals. So I think the Bucks should be able to their defense should be able to stop the run. Like they're good against the run, but they're not good against the pass. But I think they should be able to give the Saints offense fits because they have the worst passing offense in football and they don't have a run game to depend on. The Bucks so far, I think they pretty much have the better quarterback in this game, and they're the more complete team, and they have more to play for, so they have a chance to win the division and make the playoffs. And the Saints are on a downfall so far since they got eliminated from the playoffs contention like last week. So I think the Bucks, I think they're gonna score, but I'm not really sure they're gonna score 30. Maybe they score in the 20s. Who knows? Um, I just don't really know if I really have a lot of faith in the Saints to score that many points because because we know, like I said, the Saints offense is not playing really well, and we know the defense so far, it's been up and down, and we know the Saints are good against the run in the past. I mean, as I look at the stats, the Saints defense, it has been good against the run, but it's been good against the pass lately. But the factor is that the Bucks, they could be getting healthier on offense though, because now I heard on news that Mike Evans has practiced all week, so he could have a chance to play. But now they're saying he won't though. So now they got Mecca Buka, Chris Godwin, Kate Auden, and they got Bucky Irvin back. So yeah, I expect those guys to have a good game as well. So basically, I think the Bucks might score in the 30s, maybe the 40s or 20s or something like that. So yeah, I think they can do it though. So yeah, so by the way, I'm gonna take the Bucks to win, but I'm gonna take them to cover as well because I just don't really think I have enough faith in the Saints offense to keep up though, because the Bucks have one of the better offenses in football who can score points, and we know the Saints can't score points as well. And we know they've been struggling on offense lately. So I see it as a blowout though, because even last time these two teams played, Tampa Bay just blew the doors off of them by like double digit, at least by like 20 points. So yeah, so I'm gonna take the Bucks to win, and I'm definitely taking them to cover that 8-point spread as well. I know that 8-point spread is big, but yeah, but I'm taking Tampa Bay both ways since they're at home and they're the more complete team, have the better quarterback and coaching staff, and have more to play for. All right, the next game we have the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jags. So, so the Colts are 1.5-point favorites against the Jags. This game right here can totally go either way. Now the Colts have lost 2 straight games in a row, while Jacksonville, has totally, they've been on a little bit of a hot streak lately. I mean, both teams are frauds. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're frauds. Um, so yeah. So it can go either way. I mean, whoever wins this game is probably going to be in control of first place in the AFC South. And all of a sudden, the AFC South is pretty good this year. So, yeah. So, this game's in Jacksonville. I'm going to take, and we already know that the Colts have struggled in Jacksonville recently over the last couple of years. Like, I don't know the last time Indianapolis have lost a game in Jacksonville. I think it was maybe 11 or 12 years ago, which I think that's the last time Colts have lost to the Jags in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville has typically owned them. But at the same time, Jacksonville has been really good lately. I mean, I like how the way their offense is playing. Like, they can run the football, they can throw it a little bit, but their defense so far, it's been good this year. I mean, they have the best run defense in football, but they just can't stop the pass. And Daniel Jones have not been looking like himself because he's playing through a fractured fibula, I guess. But I feel like the Jags are going to have to do something defensively. They just got to contain Jonathan Taylor. If they contain Jonathan Taylor in the Colts running game, the Jags defense can have success to at least help out their secondary stop the pass. Because we know they play a lot of man and all that. And the Colts got really good weapons on the outside, on the offense that can really threaten that can really rip up a defense like the Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville's pass defense is not great. And I just really think that when you look at the matchup, I just really think that, the Colts so far, they want to run the football. Like they totally do. And they want to throw it because so far, because we already know the Colts do have the 4th best offense in football. They have the 7th best passing offense in football. And their offense has been converting lately. So I think it could be a lower scoring game. But it could be a higher scoring game because the Colts defense hasn't allowed over 30 points all season. And we know Jacksonville hasn't allowed, they've been scoring 30 points. It could be a higher scoring game, but the Colts, they're dealing with so many injuries since the Colts are dealing with injuries on defense, I'm going to take Jacksonville to win. I mean, I feel like with Sauce being out kind of hurts them a lot. So I think that can help Jacksonville's passing on to be able to pass the ball. And I think that Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers will be a problem for the Colts defense, especially without Sauce in there. So, and the Colts have struggled in Jacksonville recently throughout the last couple of years. And I just really think that the Jags are going to find ways to move the football and score points. Because the Colts do have the worst passing defense in football as well. And they like to play a lot of man, and Trevor is really good at beating man coverage. So, by the way, I'm going to go upset. I'm going to go Jacksonville to win straight up. I think they win 27-24, 34-31, 31-27, something like that. More like a higher scoring game. So, I'm going to take Jacksonville to win straight up. Next game, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are 6-point favorites against the Steelers. Ravens are 6-point favorites against the Steelers. This is like the black and blue series once again. Now, both of these two teams are 6-6. So whoever wins this game is probably going to be in control of first place in the AFC North. And I feel like the Ravens do have the odds to win it. Now, the Ravens offense has totally not been looking good lately, but we already know it looked terrible against the Bengals because they had 5 turnovers in that game, which that's historically bad. And the Ravens are playing against a Steelers team that's overrated in terms of their defense. Because we already know the Steelers' defense has been pathetic lately. They have been not good against the run or the pass lately, but we totally seen the Steelers' run defense get ran over by James Cook because James Cook was tearing them apart, and we totally saw the Bills, run all over them. Like, how do you like their run? We seen them get exposed in that area. Like, how do you get exposed like that? And because right now they're playing against a team that can run the football really good in Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry, he's probably gonna have like over 100 rushing yards, and he's gonna have a lot of carries. So yeah, but at the same time, the Steelers can't cover anything. Like, yeah, I could totally take Pittsburgh with 6 because they do play the Ravens really well. But at the same time, I just really think the Ravens so far are gonna find more ways to win. They're gonna score points. Lamar, like the offense will play a lot better. I feel like their offense will play a lot better in this game. And I think their defense will too play a lot better though, because they're playing against an offense that's not great in passing yards and not running the football. And we know the Steelers' run game has not been great lately, and we know their offensive line is not great. They have one of the worst pass protecting units in football. And Aaron Rodgers is old and he looks washed and he's not looking like the same player. Like their offense right now, they just can't produce. So, by the way, I'm gonna take the game's in Baltimore, and I'm gonna take the Ravens to win this game, and I'm definitely taking them to cover that spread as well because they're the more complete team and have the better quarterback. And are at home and have the better coaching staff, and everybody's trying to say that Mike Tomlin's going to get fired, saying he's going to be on the hot seat because he hasn't won a playoff game in like 7-8 years, something like that. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens to win and to cover. I think the Ravens are going to score like 30 points in this game, and I don't think Pittsburgh will keep up. I think it's going to be like a 27-17 or like 31-20, maybe something like that. Maybe like a double digit. Maybe the Ravens win by double digits. Because we know the Steelers did lose by like 19 points last week. We could see the Steelers lose by a lot as well. Because if the Ravens can get up early and start fast and get hot, they'll probably blow the Steelers out. So, yeah. So, I'm going to take the Ravens both ways. I'm going to take them to win and cover so they can take control of the AFC North. Because I don't really think – because I don't think the Steelers are as good. I think they're the most overrated team in football. So, yeah, I got the Ravens winning. All right, next game. We have the Denver Broncos against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos are 7-point favorites against the Raiders. I got to take the Broncos to win this game because they're the best team in football right now. They're playing their best ball right now, especially on defense, but it's just that their offense is not playing good. But they dissect had the best defense in football. And the Raiders, they suck. The Raiders are, I've been saying this for weeks, they're a disgrace to football. Like, the Raiders, they have no dimension to their offense. They can't run the ball. They can't throw it. Their offensive line is one of the worst in football. But their defense is average, and it's just been up and down. And the Broncos so far, yeah, their offense is not good, but the Raiders, because last time when these two teams played, it was a low-scoring game. Because the Raiders' defense did play good in that game, where they did kept them in the game, but it's just that their offense could not do much. Because all they just do is go 3 and out, and they don't convert on third down very well. And Geno Smith is not great, and Pete Carroll looks like he's about to go in a retirement home. I think the Broncos are going to win because they're the more complete team. They have more to play for. And the Raiders, they're not going to go anywhere because they're not going to make the playoffs. And while the Broncos are looking to at least clinch a top seed in the AFC Conference, and they're looking to winning, and they're looking towards, winning their division for the first time since 2015. With Peyton Manning's, last year playing in the NFL. Yeah. And the Broncos so far are the better team and have better coaching staff. So I'm taking the Broncos both ways. I'm taking them to win and cover. Raiders aren't going to score points in this game. Broncos will probably win like a 27-16, 27-9. The Broncos should easily win that game to sweep the season series. We know they swept this team last year, and they should be able to do it again. So, yeah, I got the Broncos both ways. I got the Broncos to win and cover. All right, next game we have Chicago Bears against the Green Bay Packers. This Packers was at 6, but I don't know why the line keeps changing so much. I don't know why. Okay, that's much better. So the Packers are 7-point favorites against the Bears. They're favored by like a touchdown. What do we gotta see so far? So what do we see? So far the Packers are coming off a big win against the Lions, and the Bears are totally coming off consecutive wins, especially a big win against the Eagles. So far the Bears are playing their best ball right now. I mean, I like how the way the Bears are playing. Like everybody's saying Ben Johnson's a masterclass, but he looks to be coach of the year. I like how the way his offensive scheme is playing. Like they're running the football, like they're passing the football really well. Well, yeah, I know Caleb Williams is not really good, but he's very consistent, and their old line is playing better. The defense so far, they're playing better as well. But I know they're not good, but they're playing a lot better. And they're playing against a Packers team that has a really good scoring offense and have one of the best defenses in football. And I just don't really know if the Bears are going to be able to do much offensively because the Packers so far are really good on defense, taking the top off of an offense. Because we seen them get pressure last week, and I feel like Micah Parsons and Gary could be a problem against that Bears offensive line. Yeah, I feel like the Bears will get tested in that area. And at the same time, I really think that the Packers offense can move the ball against a Bears defense that's not really good, even though they're good in takeaways. But they are getting healthier on defense, which is helping. Because, with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon back, it does help. And I just really think that, that the Packers, they do have a lot of good weapons on offense. And they can really take a top off of defense as well, like the Bears. And I just really think that, the Packers do a really good job forcing some short completions. Like, I feel like the Bears are probably going to have some short completions underneath where, or maybe like a side pass to the left or to the right, maybe for a bigger play. The Bears do really good at throwing the forward pass and doing screen passes as well. And the Bears are really good in that area, though. But I just really think that when I look at the Packers, I just really think the Packers defense is playing a high level right now. And they can stop the run and they can stop the pass really good. And they do have a top pass defense in football, which I don't really think Caleb Williams, especially without Rome Odunze playing, I don't really know how the Bears offense is going to be able to respond in that area. Because I don't know if they're going to be able to do like they did last week. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be close. But at the same time, I'm going to go take the Packers to win this game because I just think the Packers, are the more complete team. And I just really think they do have the better pass rush and have the better quarterback and better coaching staff and better offense. And they're at home in this game. And it could be cold weather in Green Bay. And we know Green Bay is really good in cold weather. And the Bears are too. And especially, I think, I just don't see how the Bears are going to be able to move the ball in that area. And I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball as much like they did last week. But yeah, the Bears might be able to run the ball a little bit on them, especially without Devontae Wyatt being out and Lucas Van Ness, yeah. And then Quay Walker being out. So I'm going to take the Packers to win. I'll take the Bears with 7, I guess. I think, Green Bay might win by a touchdown. Maybe they win by a field goal. Who knows? So I'm probably going to say Packers win like a 33-27, or Packers win maybe they win like a 34-27, something like that. Maybe more like a higher scoring game. So I'm going to take the Bears with 7, but I'll take the Packers to win the game. Next game, we have the Los Angeles Rams against the Arizona Cardinals. Rams they were 8, but now they're favored by a lot of points. They're favored by 9.5. This game right here can go either way, but actually it can. I think the Rams, I got the Rams winning, and I got the Rams covering that spread, even though that spread's big, and I know it's 9.5. I'm taking the Rams both ways because they have the best offense in football. I mean, they should easily bounce back after coming off a loss against Carolina where they had a few turnovers, which they could have at least won that game against the Panthers. But it all came down to their offense, not, sustaining a drive and when they turned the ball over on that. And I think the Rams should easily bounce back, coming off that loss, which I think they'll be extra motivated. They actually have more to play for because the Cardinals aren't going nowhere. They're not, and the Rams are looking to at least clinch a top seed in the NFC conference. And I just think the Rams so far, I just really think they pretty much have the better quarterback. They have better coaching, and they're the more complete team and have the better defense. And they're a better pass rushing team as well. And the Cardinals, I don't think they'll be able to keep up as well. But yeah, their offenses totally have been playing really good without Kyler. So yeah. So yeah, we know they're really good against the run, but they're not great against the pass. And the Rams have better defense in this game as well. So yeah, I think the Rams, they're probably going to score in the 30s, maybe in the 40s. And I don't think the Cardinals will keep up as well. So I think the Rams win easily. Maybe they win like a 38-17, something like that. Stafford maybe throws for like 4. Now we know the Rams can't run the ball as well. And we already know the Rams. We know that Stafford, he's probably going to have like 4 touchdowns. He's probably going to throw for like 300 yards or 400 yards or something. So I think he has like an MVP type of game. So I'm going to take the Rams to win and the Rams to cover. All right, next game. We have the Houston Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites against they're 3.5-point favorites against the against the Texans. So yeah, so basically, this game right here can go either way. Now I know a lot of people are picking the Texans to win because they so far got the best defense in football. And the Chiefs do have injuries on their offensive line as I look. Their first round offensive lineman is ruled out. Trey Smith and Juwan Taylor, they're all out. So basically, half of their offensive line is out, which that kind of sucks. They just got to rely on Creed Humphrey and Jalen Moore to step up, I guess. But their D-line their defense is pretty much healthy, though. So they might do enough to get some stops. But I just don't really know how well their offensive line is going to play because we already know the Chiefs, they can't run the football. And we know Texans' offense is not good and they can't run the football as well, too. And their offensive line is not great on the road, but they found a way to beat the Colts. But Texans' offense is playing a lot better, though. But at the same time, I just really think that, the Texans' defense, especially with the Chiefs having to beat up offensive line against that Texans pass rush, could totally be a terrible matchup, though. Because I feel like with their backup offensive lineman playing against that Texans pass rush is a terrible matchup. But I just don't really know because at least the Chiefs, their weapon read is healthy. Rice is healthy. Worthy's healthy. Brown is healthy. Kelsey's healthy. Pacheco's healthy. Like, most of their weapon reader is healthy. So, yeah. So, no problem there. I mean, as long as they can at least get some guys open, they should be fine. And I think the defense so far can play a lot better here because they're playing against a Texans offense that can't score points. And we know they're playing against a team that can't run the football. And Kansas City is good against the run this year. And so is Houston. They're good against the run. We know both teams can't run the ball. And both teams are really good against the run this year. And they're both good against the pass. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a defensive game as I look at it from a standpoint. So I think the game will be close. I think it could be a lower scoring game. But I'm going to take the Chiefs to win this game. But I will take 3.5 with Houston because I think Houston will hang around this game because they pretty much have the best defense in football and they can give Mahomes and the Chiefs offense some fits. And the Chiefs could totally give the Texans offense some fits as well because we've seen the Chiefs beat the Texans many a times and they proved to us that they can beat them. And they pretty much own this team. But yeah, they are playing against a different Texans team that has the best defense in football. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win a low-scoring game like 20-17, 17-13, 13-10. Somewhere like a low-scoring game. But I will take Houston with the points because I think they'll hang around this game as well. So I'm going to take the Texans with the points, but I will take the Chiefs to win this game so they can keep their playoff hopes alive because they really need this more than the Texans because the Texans are looking to keep their playoff hopes alive as well after a big win by Indy. And they're playing really well right now. But I think Houston's going to be due for a loss because I think Kansas City, is good. They're trying to bounce back. And we know Andy Reid's not trying to lose 2 games in a row. And playing at Arrowhead is tough outing as well. So, yeah. And then last game, Monday Night Football, we have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites against the Chargers. Now, I was going to call it a trap game for some reason because it could be a trap game because we know this game go either way, and playing in LA is tricky. Now, we know a few people could be on the Chargers winning this game because they do have the better quarterback, and they do have the better offense in this game. And we already know the Eagles' offense stinks. They can't run the football. They can't throw the football. And as you all know, if they can't run the football, they can't throw it either because they looked pathetic offensively. Like, they turned the ball around a tush push. And all of a sudden, the OC of Philadelphia stinks. Like, he can't do nothing. Like, he's not doing well at controlling the line of scrimmage. He's not doing a really good job there. And defensively, he's just like, the Eagles defensively is good, but we've seen him got run over by the Bears. And also, they're playing against a Chargers offense that can throw the ball, that can pass the ball, and all that. And the Chargers do have a top passing defense as well. And Mentor's defense has been playing really good. He could totally give the Eagles offense some fits. But Greg Roman is a really good offensive coordinator. He might find ways to scheme some things up against an Eagles defense that has been up and down. So, yeah. And, Herbert is a better quarterback, and Chargers do have the better coaching staff as well. But at the same time, I think the Eagles are a much more better team than the Chargers, in my opinion. So, I'm not going to say the Eagles are going to lose 2 games in a row, but I think it will be close. I do like the points with the Chargers winning this game, but I'm going to take Philly to bounce back and win this game because I think Philly's just a much more better team, and I just really think their offense is going to find a way to at least sustain drives and score some points. And I think their defense can totally find a way to at least get pressure on her and make life difficult on the Chargers offensive line that's beat up with injuries. And if they can't run the football with no O-line, it's going to be a problem for the Eagles' pass rush because their pass rush is really good. They can get pressure. And I really think that the Chargers, they do got great weapons on the outside. But the Chargers, I just don't really think they have the corners to match up well with the Eagles' receivers. Because I really think that, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, it's a problem for that Chargers secondary. And I think the Eagles can get their pass game going. I think they can get their offense going. I mean, as long as they don't start sloppy, they have a chance, though. But I would not be surprised if the Chargers pull off this upset. But I just think the Eagles are just a more complete team, and I think they'll find more ways to win. And we've seen the Chargers struggle against mobile quarterbacks, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to make some throws. He can run around and extend plays and all that. Because we know Philly likes to run the football, and they know they can't, and they know they can't throw the football, but I think they do better. I think they're going to do a lot better stopping the run as well. Even though the Chargers' run game has been great without their top two running backs. Because we know the Eagles' run defense did get exposed by DeAndre Swift, and I don't know who their other running back is, but they had a great game. But I think the Eagles' run D plays better. But I think it's going to be more of a lower scoring game. I think they'll both score in the 20s. I'm probably going to say Phillies win like a 23-20 or 26-23, something like that. More like a lower scoring game. But I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. As long as if both offenses start to get hot, I think it will be a high scoring game. So, yeah. So, I'm going to take the Chargers with the points, but I'll take the Eagles to win the game. I'll take the Eagles to get back on track and win this game because I just don't see this team losing 3 in a row. Because I feel like they need this win more if they really want to make the playoffs. But the Chargers may need to win this game more. They want to make the playoffs. But I feel like it's just a letdown spot for them. I know it's at home, and I know they need to win this game more. But I feel like it's a letdown spot for the Chargers, and that's why I'm picking the Eagles to win this game. But it will be close though. Well, all right, guys. Those are all my Week 14 picks for this week. Thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Like, just let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. See who you guys got winning Week 14. Well, this is Emmanuel Jones, a big fan. Thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my weekly prediction videos. So, yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.